In this video, I'm trying to document my journey to the installation of this Avinusa octa-core Android Oreo head unit in my Mercedes GL 2009. I was able to overcome most of the obstacles known with this type of installation. The challenges were to use the factory-fitted antenna, to use the factory-fitted mic, to use the factory-fitted reversing camera, and also be able to adjust the clock after the installation of the head unit, to use Apple Carplay and Google Maps, as well as using the Talk app. And this is my journey. I have a Mercedes GL 350, a 2009 model, and I love this car. Great for the family. But there's one problem, and that is the head unit is not keeping up with technology. The problem with this head unit is the navigation system uses proprietary navigation technology and maps that needs to be updated regularly, and Mercedes has stopped updating these maps. It's also not an easy to use navigation system once you're used to using Google Maps, and I love Google Maps. I would like to just put in a point of interest and Google Maps can navigate me there. Another problem with this head unit is that it cannot stream music via Bluetooth. You can make calls via Bluetooth but not stream music. It's only from about 2012 that they've added the feature to stream music via Bluetooth. So I would like to replace this head unit, and I've done some research. You can basically replace it with a head unit running Windows CE or Android. I've decided to replace it with a 9-inch Android head unit. So 9-inch will basically go from there right down to here with no buttons. Using tablets and it makes it easy to navigate and through a system without buttons. So I think buttons is not really necessary, and I would like to see the real estate. So when it comes to maps or movies, that there's a bigger screen and the buttons don't take half the space. I also don't need a system that's got memory and a DVD or CD slots, because most of the media will be either streamed online or from SD cards or external memory. I also would like the new unit to integrate with the buttons on the steering wheel, you know, changing your tracks, your music tracks or radio stations, as well as taking calls and ending calls, changing the volume levels, and that must also then display on this instrument cluster. It would be a bonus if the onboard clock can be synchronized to the time on the new head unit, as it does with the OEM head unit. Inside the glove compartment, you can see there is the auxiliary input jack for music. I would like to install a USB connector in this area and be able to connect a 3G modem or an external hard drive or flash drive for music or other media. Then inside the armrest compartment, I would like to install another USB panel mount connection there that is connected to a CarPlay interface, so that I can plug in an iPhone and then CarPlay the iPhone screen onto this new Android screen. So I've decided to buy a Avinusa Android head unit. For completeness sake, this is what the packaging looks like. The box has now arrived. I'm very excited about installing this head unit. Inside the shipment package, this is what the packaging for the head unit itself looks like. It's fairly well packaged. The unit is well protected inside this packaging. I have unpacked this head unit This is what it looks like from the front. It is a 9-inch screen with no buttons. It's got a faceplate that suits the Mercedes ML or GL dashboard. It is the Mercedes series numbers X164 and W164. This is what this thing should work for. It's powered by an octa-core processor running Android 8, and I'm quite excited to see how this unit will perform. Turning the unit around, I have now plugged in all the cables and adapters, and I think it is important to discuss each one of them, as the literature and content from Avant USA is not great at all. So here we have the ISO plug that will plug directly in to the car harness, and these are mainly driving speakers and power and etc. Then these two adapters is the auxiliary in connectors, which comes from the glove box compartment auxiliary in, and we will use them a little later. This connector is for the reverse or rear view camera that uses the camera, the OEM camera, in the boot lid. This little box is the CAN bus decoder, which is made specifically for this Mercedes model, and what this should do is integrate with the steering wheel controls and instrument cluster. Then there's a few loose ends or connections here that I won't be using. It's mainly for power, external power, powering lights and etc. But I think in this case, using the CAN bus decoder will provide all the signals required for this head unit to operate. Then this cluster of cables is basically all outputs. So I'll go through them. Here you have the front, left and right outputs. Should you want to connect this head unit to an amp, this is your left and right front. Here is the rear left and right output, preamp outputs. This green one is the subwoofer output, and then these two yellow ones is two video outputs, which I won't be using because they would typically go to screens in the rear of your car. The next set of connections is for USB connectors. This unit comes with 3 USB connections. I plan to use one of them for a 3G modem so that I can provide this unit with a data connection for music streaming or video, or using Google Maps, or whatever online activities is required. The second one I plan to use for an external hard drive or a flash drive. They claim that this unit can take an external flash of 512 gigabytes. And then the third unit I would like to connect to an Apple Carplay dongle or adapter to CarPlay my Apple phone onto this device. The next set of cables contains the microphone, the external microphone. I did not order an external microphone from Avant. I plan to wire up the OEM microphone in the overhead console of my car to this head unit, to this plug, and I hope it will work. These two cables is video inputs. It seems like it's a forward-facing cam video and then another side video. I'm not sure what they supposed to do. There's some other connections for signals like the ground, a system ground, and then a camera connection. I suppose that is to power up your camera if that is required and you're not powering it up through the CAN bus. This is a a signal for putting the car into reverse. Again, if the cam decoder works well, this won't be required. And then there's a 5-volt output for the mic if it's required. I hope it's not required for me, as I'll wire the factory or the OEM mic straight to this connection. The last cluster of cables is an audio auxiliary input, which in this case I will wire to the auxiliary inputs coming from the glove compartment. So these two will go together like this. It means that the auxiliary input from the glove compartment will come through the ISO quad lock connector into the aux inputs of this head unit. It also supports 2 other video inputs, which I won't be using. I think it's for the front cam or something else, I'm not sure. And then this is for the infrared on your TV, if you install the TV module. They also supply the head unit with a GPS antenna that has already got the correct FACRA fitting used by Mercedes. So I won't be using this GPS antenna, as the factory fitted GPS antenna has already got this FACRA fitting, the color blue, to fit onto here. Then for your FM and AM antenna, there's the connection, and this connection is the correct connection for my car. It's got this double white FACRA. I have noticed that the one core is empty, so it seems like it's only connecting to one of the 2 cables on my car, and we'll have to see what the sound quality will be like. Then this is the Wi-Fi antenna for this unit. This unit can connect to Wi-Fi hotspots, but what I've read on this unit, it can also tether its own internet connection from the 3G and become a Wi-Fi hotspot. And we will see how that is going to work. So now next step would be to make up a connection for this mic between this input connection and the factory fitted mic that comes through this ISO plug. In my case, the new head unit is plug and play, except for 2 missing pieces. The one, as I noted, is the connection to the mic. There's a 3.5mm mic in, but if you look at the pin out diagram for this command NTG 2.5, you will see in this connector here, that area there, that is block B, and the mic from the harness, from the overhead console of the car, comes through the block B terminals there. So if you look at that is a schematic of this quad lock. There's block B, and the terminals in block B is microphone 1, microphone 2, the shield, then the antenna power, and then there's also the microphone ground. So I plan to create a connection from these terminals into a mono male 3.5mm audio jack that can plug into the Avant head unit. Is the other piece that is not quite plug and play. You will see the green FACRA plug there. That is the backup camera or the rear view camera, and on the Avant unit that is an RCA plug, and so I have procured an adapter from the green FACRA to a male RCA, so to get the backup camera to work. Like I've noted, on the Avant unit, the FMA and antenna plug is already correct as per the OEM, except it's got one core missing. Then this yellowish, orange yellowish firecracker connection is the Bluetooth antenna on the OEM unit. The Avant unit has got that little antenna mounted on the rear of it. To connect the OEM microphones to the Avant USA head unit, I went to a scrapyard and got a piece of the radio harness which contains the block C and block D components of the ISO quad lock plug. So I'm interested in the block B terminals for the microphone. There's two microphones in the overhead unit, and I'm interested in basically those pins. And then the plan is to add those pins into the Avant plug. You can see that the block B area there is empty. There's no plug pins at the back. So, and then you can take out these pins by squeezing there with a small screwdriver while on that piece of metal there, while pulling on the lead, and then the pin comes out. Here I have already now removed the 4 pins from block C. So there you can see the 4 pins from block C, and the way they were wired is that the red and white is the 2 microphone positives, that's terminal 1 and 2, and then there is the 2 black ones is the microphone ground and the microphone shield. You can just use a multimeter to see which one is the shield. Then on the other end of the pins, I have soldered a 3.5mm audio plug. The one black lead is soldered onto the microphone ground, and then I have parallel the red and whites to join the 2 microphones in parallel onto the microphone positive. The black lead, that is the shield, I have exited at the end of the plug, and what I'm now going to do is close up this plug and also connect these 4 pins into the Avant USA head unit as per this diagram. The 1 and 2 would be the red and white, and then 3 is the shield, it's a black wire, and then the 9 is the microphone ground. And there you can see that 1 starts at the bottom. There's 1 and there's 12. The microphone comes from the overhead control panel through this cable here into the ISO lock connector. So it does not have a FACRA cable as some other GLs I've seen online. So I have connected these 4 cables here onto the Avant quad lock, and on the other end I've connected a male plug, so that goes into the mic in that is connected to the Avant head unit. I've discovered that the dual white FACRA antenna connector does not work with the Avant system. What I've tried is to swap around the 2 connectors. So I'm putting them back now. Then they're locked in by these little purple lock pins. So the lock pin would go in on the side like this. And then the other one goes in on that side like that. Then it connects back into the head unit. You will see inside the head unit only one of those 2 pins has got a connector on the other side. The one is empty. So now I'm going to plug it in, and then the radio is working. The next connection is the rear view camera, the reversing camera. It comes on the CCD AV in plug, which is RCA, and there's an adapter from Avant USA from this RCA plug to a green Farkra, and the Farkra is part of, or this terminal comes as part of the OEM harness. That sorts out the rear view reversing camera. Apart from that, it's plug and play on this big quad lock. My car does not have the Harman Kardon system, so it is fairly straightforward. All you have in here is the 8 speaker wires and power, plus, minus, and the CAN bus. This little connection here actually goes to the auxiliary input, which is in the glove box compartment. Here we have, this is part of the head unit harness, is the CAN bus adapter box. Then the auxiliary inputs from the glove box comes through the quad lock, and then you just bridge it here into the Avan head unit. The GPS antenna is the blue Farkra connection. That was just plug and play, and that's about that. The next thing I can mention is the USBs. This unit has got 3 USB connections, so they come through on this part of it's plugged in here. Just move this way out the way. Plugged in there on this green and purple fitting or connection. So the one USB I've wired into a 3G modem, Wi-Fi modem. The other one I've plugged into a cable that I've installed from the center arm console, so that sits here. I've taken out the center arm console and installed that USB surface mount there, and the 2 cables run underneath this center console area and comes out here. So this is where I'm terminating the other USB, as well as there's cables are unfortunately short, but there's a Apple Carplay adapter, generic one, which comes through on a 3rd USB. So the one USB goes to the Apple CarPlay adapter, and the other one goes to a flash drive or external memory. So apart from the few lessons I've learned, fairly straightforward, and it sounds great. Now I'm going to tape it up with cloth tape, make it neat, and wrap up the job. So I've installed the head unit, and now I would like to use the USB connectors for the Apple CarPlay as well as music on a flash drive. I'm putting inside this center console. So I have installed this USB adapter like that and wrapped up the cables that I will now take into the head unit connection. I've now taped it all up with cloth tape, just so to avoid any rattles or damage to the cables. The startup and shutdown time is fairly quick. If I insert the key into the ignition and turn it onto radio, it takes about 1 second, 2 seconds, and the radio starts up. Also, when I shut it down, if I take the key out of the ignition, like now taken out, it takes about 2 or 3 seconds for the radio to shut down. The same is true for starting the car and putting it in reverse. So I put it in, I turn the key, the engine is on, I put it in reverse, and immediately the rear view camera lights up. Some of the units takes up to 20 seconds. When I put it in drive again, immediately it changes back to the music that I'm playing. Normally when you remove the factory fitted navigation system, you are not able to change the cluster clock, because the cluster clock gets its time from the navigation system, GPS time. If you take the car to a mechanic or a workshop that's got a star diagnostic system, they can actually change the settings of the instrument cluster so that it does not see or expect, or you set it that the car does not have a navigation system, which then enables you to set the clock from the steering wheel. So under settings, if you then go into settings on the steering wheel, you will see a date and time option that is now visible, where you could change the time and the date of the instrument cluster. There is the two USB connections I have installed in the center arm console, and one of them connects directly to the head unit, the other one connects to the head unit via a CarPlay dongle. And when you then connect your iPhone to the head unit, the head unit picks it up, and there's your iPhone homepage. You can then navigate your iPhone directly from the screen. The app that's used on the head unit for connecting to your phone is this app called ZBox. In order to use the Talk app on the head unit, I purchased this VPeak OBD2 adapter from Amazon. If you plug that into the OBD2 port, get into the car, and then you then open the Talk app. The Talk app will connect then to the adapter. I have built a couple of dashboards. For example, this dashboard showing engine speed, boost pressure, intake temperatures, charge voltage, and a few other things. So that is the Talk app. You can also clear fault codes, do some basic diagnostics, track fuel consumption, and etc. For 3G data, I have used the third USB cable on the head unit and connected that up to just a normal 3G modem dongle, which is sitting in the glove compartment, and that is then wired to the head unit. That modem then is powered up by the head unit and provides a 3G Wi-Fi in the car, great for the children to connect to, but also that's where the head unit then is able to get its data from when you use Google Maps, for example, which is a great platform and a navigation system. I hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching.